Robert De Niro, legendary actor, master of his craft, a figure whose very name evokes respect and admiration. But behind the spotlight, the applause, and the Oscars lies a story shrouded in mystery, ambition, and sacrifice. A story he's long kept hidden. Born in New York City's vibrant Greenwich Village, Robert's early life was not one of luxury or fame. His father, a talented yet struggling painter, and his mother, a dedicated poet, instilled in him the relentless pursuit of artistry. Beneath this surface of creativity, however, lurked a fierce determination that would one day become both his greatest asset and his heaviest burden. At 16, young De Niro stumbled onto a dimly lit stage for the first time, completely unaware that this single moment would set in motion events that could alter Hollywood forever. He delivered his lines with raw passion, captivating the tiny audience gathered in a basement theater. It was this performance, powerful yet haunting, that sparked an obsession. While audiences saw the polished performances on screen, Robert lived a different reality. Every role was an internal war, a brutal battle against his own sanity. The line between De Niro and his characters blurred dangerously with each film. He spent nights alone in shabby apartments to prepare for Taxi Driver, worked tirelessly in boxing rings to embody Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull, and even spent weeks driving cabs around New York City to fully inhabit Travis Bickle. But this dedication exacted a toll. Friends began whispering concerns, watching as Robert spiraled deeper into isolation. Directors feared his intensity. Co-stars admired and sometimes dreaded it. Yet De Niro's hunger for authenticity was insatiable. Behind closed doors, away from the flashing lights, he fought battles only he knew about. Battles against exhaustion, battles against loneliness, battles to remain true to himself amidst overwhelming pressure. His relentless pursuit of perfection reached its apex during the filming of Cape Fear. Robert became so engrossed in the psyche of his villainous character Max Cady that the entire cast felt an unsettling tension whenever he entered the set. Rumors swirled of method acting gone too far, whispers that De Niro himself struggled to distinguish reality from performance. But it was precisely this dark and obsessive commitment that propelled him to greatness. Each of his Oscar wins was more than a trophy. They were scars earned through endless internal struggles. Yet with every accolade, the public demanded more, hungrier for increasingly shocking transformations and emotional depth. Then came the breaking point. In a quiet, rare interview conducted years later, Robert shared the moment he faced his toughest choice: continue on this path of intensity, risking his very sense of self, or step back, allowing himself a moment to breathe. The actor who had spent decades pushing boundaries was forced into introspection. The story took an unexpected twist when De Niro discovered the script for Meet the Parents. Many viewed it as beneath his talent, a comedic step backward. Yet Robert saw something else, a chance for redemption, a chance to reclaim a piece of his soul that years of method acting had eroded. The audience was shocked, critics were confused, but Robert knew exactly what he was doing. This choice marked the beginning of a new chapter, one where De Niro allowed himself to smile again, to laugh openly. Behind the scenes, he quietly mentored younger actors, urging them not to lose themselves in the pursuit of perfection, warning them of the price he had paid in silence. As time passed, a new generation began discovering his work, sparking renewed curiosity about the intense actor whose performances still captivated millions. Late-night hosts clamored for his presence, eager for insight into the enigmatic mind behind iconic characters. Tales emerged, each more sensational than the last. Yet Robert mostly stayed silent, determined to preserve the truth of his journey. Away from the cameras and red carpets, De Niro quietly funded art programs, supported struggling actors anonymously, and dedicated his time to social causes. Few realized that beneath the tough exterior he was known for lay a deeply compassionate man who understood hardships few could imagine. When he finally stepped forward again, it was not with another blockbuster role, but with a heartfelt message to those suffering in silence. Actors, artists, people everywhere who felt invisible. Robert spoke candidly about his struggles, the weight of fame, and the urgent need for mental health awareness. His words went viral, igniting global conversations and touching countless lives. By then, it was clear his legacy had evolved beyond his cinematic achievements. Robert De Niro had become a symbol of resilience, authenticity, and courage, an actor who had faced his darkest moments and emerged with new purpose. As the world looked on, he transformed from Hollywood's most intense method actor into a visionary who advocated for balance, sanity, and compassion. Yet, for all the fame, De Niro maintained a certain quiet resolve. Never boastful, never reliant on past achievements, he continued to hone his craft, determined to leave a mark that transcended box office numbers. When asked in an interview about his decision to open up, he answered simply, "Sometimes we tell our stories not for ourselves, but for those who feel they have no voice." In those words lay the essence of Robert De Niro's hidden battle, a journey that mirrored universal struggles with ambition, identity, and the fear of losing oneself in the unrelenting spotlight of public expectation. In revealing his vulnerability, he showed that even the mightiest can be fragile behind the curtains of fame. Critics and fans alike watched in awe as De Niro continued to navigate the twilight of his career, balancing comedic roles, dramatic powerhouses, and personal projects he had nurtured for years. No longer fueled solely by the need to vanish into his characters, he chose each project with a calm confidence that underscored his deep love for the craft. When younger actors approached him for guidance, he offered cautionary tales drawn from the darkest corners of his own experiences. He confessed that there were times he had felt dangerously close to losing himself. Preparation for each role often became a consuming obsession. Even as he soared to new professional heights, he wrestled with a sense of isolation, an echoing doubt that no Oscar or rave review could silence. Some say he was chasing ghosts, trying to rectify what he viewed as missed opportunities, moments where he could have been more present for his friends or offered more compassion to himself. Others argue that it was precisely this insatiable drive that kept him relevant in a brutally competitive industry, one that chews up talent and discards it without remorse. Despite the endless speculation, Robert rarely revealed the full scope of his struggles. Those closest to him witnessed the emotional roller coaster. They saw the tears behind his pride. They understood why he sometimes vanished into his method acting, seeking truth within the very darkness he portrayed on screen. But rumors, as they always do, grew with each passing film. Reports surfaced of near-obsessive research for roles, of tension with directors who felt overshadowed by his intensity. There were stories of him disappearing for weeks, only to return with a transformation so complete it bordered on the uncanny. And so the public's curiosity deepened, feeding on any scrap of information or behind-the-scenes tidbit. Tabloids concocted wild theories, spinning them into tales of near madness. In time, Robert De Niro's method became something of a legend, a lore passed from acting schools to Hollywood producers, each retelling a mixture of admiration and caution. He remained stoic, refusing to indulge in personal dramatics or tabloid tales. Instead, he let his work speak for itself, an ever-evolving narrative of human emotion, capturing both the brutality and tenderness of life. Filmmakers from around the world sought his presence, hoping to bottle that unmistakable De Niro intensity for their projects. Some marveled at his capacity to shift from menacing force to comedic relief in the span of a single scene. In later years, the actor who had once vanished into characters like Travis Bickle or Jake LaMotta began to step back into roles that reflected wisdom and acceptance. Directors whispered that he had found a rare equilibrium, still passionate, still unyielding in his pursuit of authenticity, but tempered by the knowledge that he need not lose himself completely to discover emotional truth. Audiences noticed the subtle shift. They saw glimpses of Robert's real soul behind the polished facade, a warmth that shone through the occasional grin, a softness in his eyes that had once burned with barely contained rage. The transformation was no less electrifying. If anything, it made him more human, more relatable, despite his larger-than-life status. As new generations of moviegoers discover classics like Goodfellas and The Godfather Part 2, they unearthed legends of how deeply De Niro had immersed himself in those roles. Clips of his riveting performances were shared across social media, inspiring countless aspiring actors and further solidifying his legend. But none of these moments or accolades revealed the long nights he had spent grappling with self-doubt, the countless times he had questioned whether it was all worth it. It was only in private conversations, usually past midnight, on a quiet set or at an out-of-the-way diner, that he admitted the cost of absolute commitment. There, away from the cameras, he spoke of sleepless nights and relationships strained to the breaking point, all in the name of art. Close friends suggest that even if De Niro could relive his life, he would choose the same path, if only to serve as a beacon for those determined to follow in his footsteps. Through his struggles, he offered a blueprint for greatness mixed with caution, a stark reminder that ambition can claim more than it gives if left unbalanced. It is precisely this duality that turned the name Robert De Niro into a cultural touchstone. People saw not just the celebrated actor, but a complex human being who fought for every inch of his career, who embraced the dark underbelly of his own psyche to breathe authenticity into each character. Outside the realm of film, Robert's curiosity flourished. He immersed himself in philanthropy, championing causes close to his heart, while also exploring global cinema. He established festivals and took an active role in promoting independent filmmakers, nurturing a new wave of storytellers who would question, challenge, and expand the limits of cinematic expression. In these endeavors, many recognized the unmistakable thread of empathy that defined De Niro's post-peak years. Though never seeking public acclaim for these charitable acts, his vision shaped entire communities of artists who might otherwise have remained unheard. Even so, Hollywood never stopped calling. Directors, new and old, continued to craft roles specifically for him, stories that demanded the penetrating gaze and explosive range that only he could provide. Some were gritty crime dramas evoking his early days. Others were heartfelt pieces that explored fatherhood, aging, and redemption. Each time, the audience was reminded of Robert's uncanny ability to inhabit a soul, any soul, and mirror back the raw essence of humanity. Such was his power that the industry jokingly referred to a De Niro effect, describing any film that was elevated by his mere presence. A cameo appearance in a minor production might generate buzz for months. A leading role often meant a wave of award speculation long before the first trailer dropped. Yet through all the noise, the legend of his hidden struggles persisted. Industry insiders whispered of nights he spent alone, wrestling with lines of dialogue, haunted by the ghosts of roles long past. Former co-stars reminisced about how he would slip into character at 6 in the morning and not re-emerge as himself until late into the night. Though no official explanation ever confirmed these stories, they added a mystique that only fueled the actor's mythic aura. Robert De Niro's odyssey extended beyond personal triumph or torment. It reflected the broader conflict of an artist striving for perfection in a world obsessed with quick results and instant fame. He became a parable for aspiring talents, a shining example of what mastery and sacrifice might achieve, but also a cautionary tale of how high the stakes can rise if one loses sight of balance. In the end, the truth was simpler than any rumor. Robert De Niro was a man who refused to settle for less than absolute honesty in his art, even if it meant confronting the darkest corners of his own psyche. And in his later years, when he chose to share his journey with the world, it served as a beacon for countless souls, proof that it is possible to walk through the shadows of ambition and come out on the other side still standing. So, when you see Robert De Niro on the big screen, wearing that signature half-smile or raging with an intensity that makes the audience tremble, understand that there is more to it than scripted lines. Behind every stare, every laugh, every tear, lies a history of sacrifice and unbreakable resolve. And now, that hidden history has finally come to light. This is the story Hollywood tried to bury, of an actor who poured every piece of himself into the roles he played, wrestling with an obsession that bordered on self-destruction, only to emerge as one of the most influential figures in cinematic history. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a gripping narrative of passion, darkness, redemption, and ultimately, tranquility. Robert De Niro did not just act, he survived. And now, his untold journey stands revealed for all who dare to listen. The real secret is not about Oscars or accolades. It is about the man behind the legend, a man who discovered that the greatest performance one can give is to remain true to oneself, no matter how many masks the world demands you wear.